Good evening. I would like to call this meeting to order. Special meeting this evening, July 6th, 2011, at 7:04 p.m. now. There's two items on our agenda this evening: the discussion of the future of the City of Belleville Police Department, and so discussion for the city manager contract. That was an item that was tabled at the last council meeting. I want to remind everybody that tonight's discussion, public comment, the contract will be open for discussion and public comment, but that we need to stick to.
We got back 500 plus was the surveys, and we got back 409 that had comments on them. Saying that, I would like to propose that we form a study committee, and on that study committee, we would place 2 council members. We would ask the county commissioners if they would be willing to appoint one of their members. We would ask chief of police and the county sheriff. They would be charged with coming up with some kind of a proposal. They thought it would have one law enforcement for Republic County.
Well, I was concerned several years ago. We invested all that money in the power plant knowing that we're going to have a return on that, and now we're using that money to help support the police department. Isn't that the original plan that the city had 8 years ago?
The general budget income comes from, I call it a stool with 3 legs. One of them is property tax, one of them is transfers from utilities, and the third one is the interest on our money. A little over 2 years ago, we lost the leg from the interest on our money.
One thing, we got to be realistic though. Kansas is down in population. The whole state is down. 83% of the population is metropolitan areas anymore. Republic County, Kansas has lost. There were only 4,828 people in the county. When I moved back here about 22 years ago, there were 7,600 in the county. So we have to be realistic.
I want to thank Steve for the proposal. I think that was a good thing for us to hear coming from them, that they're willing to put a committee together and to study things. I know their budget is hurting. I've sat on the school board for 4 years, and I know right where they're coming from.
What I want to say is I think the people are almost spoiled. They don't realize how good you have it in this county. 3 of your 4 patrol officers are just board certified EMS personnel. You don't know at 2 or 3 in the morning when we go on an ambulance call, you go and you're trying to read people's addresses and they're covered up by trees or they're gone or whatever. Okay, where are we? What block is this? And I look down the road and I see that city officer's car sitting by that house. And I know that officer's in there and that person is getting patient care from that point on. You don't realize how important that is. Time is muscle. And when they're in there and we get in there and they're already doing CPR, they're already taking a hard piece of candy out of the old infant's mouth. It's choking on it. It's great satisfaction for us as the county and EMS to see that you guys are getting taken care of before we can even get there.
I was asked to come tonight for a reason. And the reason I was asked to come, I've got 35 years experience in the court system. I have sat in almost every major court in the state of Kansas. And the thing that Steve mentioned is a good program. But if you get a committee appointed, get them to Mankato, get them to Jewell County, get them to Riley County, and find out what they think of their consolidated law enforcement. You're going to get an ear. They don't mind.
In the past, in my daycare, I've had parents get divorced through, I was an emergency daycare provider. The kids lived with me 24/7. Both parents met on my front porch fighting. They come, settled it. I love our police department. We locked the keys in the vehicle with a little dog inside. They were there within 5 minutes. I have daycare kids. We need them. If something happens, they're right there.
$201,700 is what is the salary that it takes to fund this police department that we have currently.
Well, in my opinion, everybody in this room, whether you've lived through your whole life, whether you've grown up here and come back, whether you transferred here, whether you're passing through, or whether you work here, honestly, you guys are all worth that to me. Every single person in this room. And that's not something that I'm willing to sacrifice for my family that lives here and my future family. I'm not willing to sacrifice that.
I have 2 bonded drivers that need stuff in my store late at night, and
They have keys to my store, and every once in a while, I get that phone call by one of the Belleville PD officers, hey, your back door's open. They are friends. One thing you need to look at, I'm willing to pay more to keep the police department.
I decided on Belleville for a list of reasons that I can't check off all here, but I'm up to the top. I had to have high-speed internet, had to have a police department, okay? There are other things I looked at. I spent a day walking through the town. I had to make sure that people were okay with a half Chinese guy. I've been to towns that are racist, okay? So there's a lot of other things I looked at to move here. So police is in my top 3 items. I've seen towns that don't have police. I didn't want to move there.
Who it was that came up with the idea of deciding we shouldn't have a police department. Don said it right. We need to cut straight across the board on salaries and everything else on a lot of things. No raises. Because there's a lot of things in Belleville that we seem to have a champagne appetite and a beer pocketbook.
I would just like to say that there's been a lot of good comments tonight. Many of them I do agree with. I have lived in Belleville for 51 years, and I am very glad to see our police department all that time be here. And I'd just like to say that I hope they're here another 51 years.
Thank you. So tonight, on my personal opinion, is that we remain the same for 2012, and over the next year, that we allow that committee that Steve has suggested, and I have talked to Gary Brent and Ronnie Blad myself. They are willing to work together to come to a consensus on looking at reducing our costs and without duplicating services, but still providing the safety and the protection that we've all come to love about our small community.